My name is Ben Birge. I'm the CountyStat manager for Prince George's County, Maryland. My role as CountyStat manager is to guide a team of analysts who is tasked with improving service delivery in Prince George's County through the use of data. We capture a variety of agency workload information, sometimes budget information, staffing information. We analyze workflows and processes to find the best way to deliver the services that are needed to serve Prince George's County residents. The data at the time was in the county, back when I started as CountyStat manager, scattered throughout different agencies without any clear policy or guidance as to how to collect it, how to store it, how to analyze it. When I took over as CountyStat manager, one of the things that they did to sort of reconfigure the office is the performance management function. This is the team of analysts who would analyze workload data in the agencies in conjunction with the operating budget. They were brought up under me. So now we were joining the process improvement aspect of CountyStat with the budget justification process that was in Office of Management and Budget. So we had to not only find relevant data, but we had to find a way to extract it, and of course find a way to tie it into the budget in order to find the best way to implement services. We were advised, I would say, that there was a process in place to extract data from the agencies, put it into a data warehouse. That was just getting off the ground at the time, but really we did not have much to work with. One of the first things my team was tasked with, literally on my first day as CountyStat manager, was to do a complete countywide service inventory of every single service provided by Prince George's County government. So I had 5 analysts working almost exclusively on this project. It took about 4 months, and we were able to catalog every single process in the county and not just label it, but what agency was performing it, was there data collected on it, and what form was the data in? Was it being collected on a spreadsheet, on a piece of paper, on an actual database? Was it accessible? Who was the person that we contact to access that data? Basically everything you could want to know about the status of the data, we collected so that we can do this massive inventory to use for future purposes. The main future purpose was the Transforming Neighborhoods initiative. We needed to know what data our agencies could use that we could quickly deploy into our most at-risk communities in Prince George's County. So without that inventory, we don't have the menu of services to give our T&I leaders. So that's how it started. It's still used, and we're still trying to update and make all the data that's on that list of 650 some odd services, trying to make it more accessible, trying to make it more available and more useful, not just in terms of T&I, but also going back to using it to justify budget items, to expand programs, contract programs, and just have a better sense of what we're doing in the county as a whole. At the time, we did not have a relationship with Socrata yet. That came a little later. And it was seen more as a way to publish information differently. We thought we had a handle on the storage of data. We thought we had a handle on the manipulation of data. What we didn't realize at the time is how we were going to show it publicly. It was still in its infancy. We all had ideas. We knew we wanted to display it. It was imperative to the county executive that when we go into these Transforming Neighborhoods initiative communities, these T&I communities, that whatever we do, we show the work. We put the data out there. But nobody had really talked about it beyond that. It had to be something that was not only useful as an analytic tool, but we had to find something that we could then make citizen-friendly so that they could look at the data, that they could show government was really having an impact in their community. In the early stages, Socrata was the platform we used for our open data portal. And it performed well as long as we fed the data to Socrata. The public was able to look at the mapping functions. They were able to look at all the data that they could download. They could sort it by area, by T&I community, by type of service request that was being requested. All that was available and very useful. In fact, I did an orientation for one of these communities, and they were so overwhelmed with it, they asked me if there was a way to get a password to use the website. They thought it was so sophisticated that only government insiders like me were able to use it. And I told them it was just as easy. You could go on it like you do any newspaper website and just click some buttons and they could do it themselves. At the time, we thought that was a really fantastic feature. We released our T&I website, which has made our leadership team ecstatic because now we're finally showing the community the dynamic data that they have been requesting ever since we started T&I in 2012. And they can go online, they can see what the data trends in their community are on the indicators that we provided. They can then go to the open data portal and look at other data going on in their community, however they want to do it. So we're very excited with how it turned out. The fact that we've seen the communities react so positively in a way that they think it's far too sophisticated for even the public before they even start using it, but also just being able to incrementalize if you want, or look at it broadly if you want. I've also worked with graduate students at universities who are, as we speak, looking at the data because they want to analyze it for the research they're working on. So the capacity for people to go in there and learn about it, whether you're a citizen or in academics, is really, really impressive. And it's really what, like I said, in 2012 when we launched T&I, that's what they wanted all along. So the conversation about open data was really easy after that. The relationship that we are hoping this type of portal brings out with the citizens and with the government is really another added element of T&I. The whole point of T&I was not for government to go in and fix everything. The whole point was for government to go in and teach the citizens how to access, how to leverage what the government is already offering. It wasn't about spending more money, it was about teaching people how to get what's already there. So open data and the T&I website, the open data portal, is all about that. It's about not only knowing what the levers of power are, but then being able to download the data yourself and say, well, what resources are available right around me? Or we have issues of this nature or that nature here. How do we get the services to that area? And that will absolutely empower the citizens and open up communication between the citizens and the government in ways that we haven't been able to do before. I'm hoping that beyond just the citizens, that we get more private sector involvement. Businesses need to go in and see what's in different communities, so that whether it's about relocating or providing a service, whatever it is for businesses need to flourish, they'll have that information at their fingertips also. When we concentrated our resources in the areas that needed it most, one of the most important metrics anyone measures in their community is crime. Telling a community crime's going down, it doesn't help you if your house has been broken into. Putting it online and showing everybody, you can go online, see it yourself, the number of crime incidents in a certain area going down, that's the way you show them. That's the way you gain their trust. We've also used the elements, the components that we have with Socrata to build dashboards, show information that we can then provide to our agencies to show how they're performing. A lot of them think they know how they're performing. Sometimes you need to visualize it. Being able to capture that data has been very helpful. Knowing that it's coming has actually changed it changed the way some people are thinking already in terms of deploying their resources. We are still in, I would say, still in the infancy of being able to fully visually deploy the services to our managers that we want. But to date, we've been able to get a lot of data, download it, manipulate it in certain ways, organize it, send it right back out to help agencies just get their job done on a day-to-day basis. Right now, its value is external, but we know we have the capacity to make it just as important internally. And it's been very limited, but that's just a matter of getting to work and deploying it. We have a lot of the data we need. Like I said before, we had all these services. The data collection, data storage, data integrity issues in our county, like any other county, are still out there. But more and more as we get data automated, put into the data warehouse, make it easy to extract, we'll be able to use the platform even more than we are now. The other thing we launched this week was the Open Performance website, another Socrata-based product, which we take all of our agency performance metrics that we already have in the budget book, that's already available to people, but we make it in a much more visually appealing, much more useful way for the average citizen. No longer looking at these dense charts and histograms that can really kind of all start to look the same after a while. It's now a much more visually appealing tool that people will be able to go in, look at it, and really get a lot more out of the information that we're providing on agency performance. And it will be a much more useful tool to the citizens than what we're providing now, which is essentially it's the budget book in PDF form. And it's not very useful. But I go back to what I was talking about with the research being done in our graduate programs. I lecture in graduate programs at 3 different universities in the state, and they all want our data. And this is another aspect, it's another component of data they're gonna have access to marry up whatever they see over here with whatever they see over here. And in my perfect world, they'll make some connection between 2 things I hadn't thought of and get in touch with us, and we can make something useful out of it. The problem we had with the previous budget presentation is that it was basically done so that you could look at data over here, look how something's going up or down, look at it with an explanation tied to it, but it didn't have any relationship to any of the other budget information or any of the other information in the book. Now, using the Open Performance website, people will be able to make their own connections using the data. They can pull the data from here, pull the data from over there, put it next to each other, see if there's a relationship, see how things work together or not. I've often said that best practices are great, but show me the worst practices. Show me the things we can fix, not just the things we can tell good stories about. So I'm looking forward to people finding the good and the bad of all of the data we're putting out there, be it through Open Performance or Open Data Portal, and really, really enhancing our business intelligence with the county. 2 ways that I see open data and the use of the products that will help us analyze and demonstrate open data in the future. The first would be, I'm looking forward to a time where I can extract the data to do the performance analysis of an agency myself. We don't have to ask an agency and they do whatever they do to come up with the answer, that we can pull the data ourselves, we can visually display it in a way that makes sense in conjunction with our service delivery and our spending. And second, I would like to see the private sector get a hold of our data and turn it into something that's not only helpful to the county, but even helps their business. We want to be a very business-friendly county. In addition to serving the citizens through all this data, I will be really excited when I see the private sector taking our data and monetizing it. Prince George's County has a lot of federal agencies in it, and it makes data collection both challenging and beneficial at the same time. It places sort of limitations on what we're allowed to do because the federal agencies are federal, and as such, we can't have a lot of impact on a lot of what they do. But at the same time, we're able to target the areas around them so that we can have a workforce at these federal agencies, keep the federal agencies in Prince George's County, not have them relocate someplace else. So to be able to use the data, to be able to use the visual platforms, we can show all the effort we're making to not only attract businesses, but attract federal agencies. It's no secret that Maryland is in the running to have the FBI relocated to Prince George's County. So to be able to visualize data to show people hopefully if the FBI relocates there, we can show the businesses that do business with the FBI, the industries that will go around the FBI, things like that. We think that this will be an incredibly important tool to attract people and attract the businesses to that area.